What's up, guys? It's your boy Giovanni, the G35 fan, back at it again with another video on the channel. Like always, guys, real quick, if this is your first time tuning into the channel, do me that favor, subscribe right down below the video. Greatly appreciate the support. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you like the video, whether it be this video or any of the other videos I do. But hitting that thumbs up helps out a lot, guys. And just share the video and hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified to when I upload another video. That being said, guys, like always, been talking too much, so let's get this video started. All right, guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be replacing my passenger side CV axle. Now, the reason why I'm replacing this is because I'm having an issue with a clunking noise, a clicking noise, whatever you want to call it. When I accelerate and decelerate, it's just a loud thumping. So um, at first I thought it was my lower control arms because some of the bushings were missing. So as you can see, I put brand new lower control arms, put new end links, put a brand new sway bar, went all out because I thought the issue was that. But what I noticed was on the passenger side, when I was working on the lower control arm, the boot for the CV axle was all ripped and torn. And then when I turned the wheel, the whole shaft just popped out with the bearings exposed. There was grease everywhere. So I didn't want to address it. So I just ended up still putting the control arm, putting everything back together. And unfortunately, I was still having the same issue. So that leads me to that it's a bad CV axle. Whether it's not or it is, I'm still going to need to replace it because the boots are bad. They're gone. So hopefully this is the issue. But I thought I would record it, and maybe this video can help out somebody else if they're having the same issue. So we're gonna see what happens. Work on this car, and hopefully, cross my fingers that it's just this. So yeah. All right, guys. So I have the car lifted up. Gonna take off the wheel. Hopefully, I have the right socket for that middle nut on the hub. Some forums were saying 36, some videos were saying 32. So I got a 32 millimeter socket. So hopefully that's the socket that I need. If not, then I'm gonna have to go buy it. Tire removed. This is the nut that I was telling you that I want to make sure I got the right one. So I got a 32 millimeter, and fortunately, guys, it fits perfect. Like I said, I read some forums that it was a 36 millimeter, but I don't know if that's for the all-wheel drive or for the rear-wheel drive. I don't know, but for a 2006 Infiniti G35X, a 32 millimeter will work. But we'll see what happens. But let me show you what I was talking about as far as the boot. As you can see, it's all ripped apart, and as you can see in there, the shaft. When I had turned this whole steering, it just popped right out, and I saw all the bearings. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this whole control arm, or not control arm, this whole CV axle, and hopefully it's able to fix everything. So yeah, I'm gonna get this project started and see what happens. Now usually there's supposed to be a pin here, but unfortunately there's not one. So I'll probably put some PB blaster, that way I can loosen this up a little bit, and then with my breaker bar use this 32 millimeter socket to try to break it. So guys, as you can tell, it's a little darker now. Had to bring out the light to continue doing this little project. uh, I tried using this breaker bar, but it wasn't budging and I didn't want to break it. Another thing, guys, when you're trying to loosen up that nut, you're gonna have to have somebody in the driver's side, pushing on the brake. That way the rotor doesn't keep turning on you when you're trying to take off the nut. But unfortunately, that method didn't work. So now I'm going to have to use the impact gun and go that method and hopefully break this loosen up the nut. Now, there's some methods on how to remove everything so that way you can get access to that CV axle. The way I saw that was more beneficial without having to remove, like, brackets and hoses and tie rods and all that, was pretty much up here. I don't know if you can see. You have two bolts. Another one right here. You got a bolt here and a bolt over there. Once you loosen that up, it loosens up this upper control arm, and pretty much everything should loosen up. I might have to get a car jack just so that it won't drop, but for the most part, that's what I saw would be the most efficient thing to do. All right, guys, so once you have this loosened up, everything should adjust. But these hoses right here, as you can see, you don't want to pinch them or anything. So they're on these little brackets. So once you loosen these little rubber parts off the bracket, it'll pretty much get all that tension off the hoses. So you just go like that, and then this one right here, pop it off, and there you go. And then I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. So I'm gonna put my knee right here on the rotor, and then right here, as you can see, it's a CV axle. So what you're gonna want to do is tilt this a little forward, pop it out like that. Let's see if I can. I mean, this one's already all messed up, dude. Just trying to get it out. Okay, it should just pop out right here. As you can see, this is all messed up. There we go. Got it out. Look at this. It's all busted. The boot ripped off, like I had mentioned. But that's how you remove the CV axle. So, guys, as you can see, the boot ripped apart. The remaining part of the axle, CV axle, is still in the drivetrain. So there's not really a lot of space to, pry, use a pry tool to get right there to, disassemble it from the drivetrain. There's hoses in the way. There's limited space. But where I found the way to remove it, it's actually on the other side underneath the vehicle. So if you're looking at the left side of the strut, you're going to come over this lower control arm, come back here, right? And then you see these two lines right here. It's kind of hard to show you, but there's these two lines right here, right? So you're going to come around, and right here there's a whole open spot. So with your pry bar like this, you're going to come on the upper part up here over these lines, bring it around like that from the top of these lines, and then right here, you can tell, try to get it in the light. All right, let me see if I can get that light. I don't know if you see, but right here is the other side of that CV axle, right where my finger's at, down here. So you just pry it right there, and then it pops out. To be honest, guys, I was having fun messing with it, but let me see. right down here. So if I pull this out, kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. Now that I have it popped out, guys, let me show y'all. Pretty much, you're gonna come through that side right there, and just pry your bar right there, and little by little it'll pop out. So there we go. Got the rest of it off. All right, guys. So got it out. As you can see, you just ripped apart the whole boot. This boot was all done. So you want to make sure you have the right length, the right teeth on both ends, because if you have different teeth, you're gonna have issues. So for the most part, everything looks good. It did come with a new nut, and also came with a pin. So that's good because I didn't have a pin on the old one. So what I'm gonna do is, with all this old grease, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it all over here to lube it up a little bit, and then we're gonna put it back in and see how everything works. All right, guys. So as you can see, I got the new CV axle in. Now let me walk you through the steps that I took, being that I had to have two hands to put that back in. So what I ended up doing was coming on this side of the rotor. Behind this hose, I fed it in that way, because if you feed it this way, this right here is going to get in your way when you try to, feed it this way. So taking it out, you come out this way, but feeding it back in, I ended up going on the other side. Once you get it in, you're going to have to kind of rotate this whole assembly this way. That way, when it comes to maneuvering it back here, you can bend this little boot. Make sure you take the nut off. That way you can maneuver it, kind of bend it, and then with this rotor kind of like at a 45 slanted like this, you'll be able to, you know, put this shaft back in. And then with two hands on this side, I got a grip, and then on this side I got a grip, and I was able to, you gotta maneuver it and turn it till it locks. Once it locks, you can just shove it all the way in, and once it hits that, that the end of the, I guess, the drivetrain or whatever the shaft is, you'll hear it like hit, and then it locks in there. So that's the way I was able to do that. And then up here, guys, being that the spring right here from the strut is in the way, I lined it everything up, and then with my flathead and a sledgehammer, like the little sledgehammer that I have, I got it in there and just barely tapped it in, until it caught. So this side should be good, but this side, as you can see, the coil is right in the way. So it shouldn't be that hard to get to. It up. It's the next day. Now, I did replace the CV axle. As you can tell, everything's still brand new boot and all that. But yeah, I ended up talking to some subscribers, and they said, being that you have an all-wheel drive, it's best if you do everything in pairs, which makes sense because you don't want to replace one side and then the other side goes out. You want everything to be in sync with each other. So I ended up ordering the CV axle for the driver's side. So I'll probably install that once I get the part. But for the most part, that's pretty much how you install the CV axle on the passenger side. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you have any questions, then yeah, leave me a comment. But yeah, I'll probably replace that CV axle. I also ordered some ball joints, being that the ones that I have are kind of already ripped. So I'm just gonna go ahead and replace everything. So we'll see how everything turns out. But like always, if y'all enjoyed the content, put that thumbs up. Let me know what you think. And yeah, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. But that being said, guys, it's your boy Giovanni. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.